Let me start with giving you a little background, and so it can sort of give you a history of it. And I don't know how much all of you know about me, but actually I was born and raised here in D.C. For all of the people that are from D.C., not that far from the Convention Center. Yes, a little plug for D.C. Not that far from the Convention Center in Northeast Washington. And it was 5 of us in that family. I have 1 brother and 3 sisters, and grew up right in D.C. And, you know, my parents, I'm sure just like all of you, worked really hard. You know, my dad worked 2 jobs. At night, he drove a cab. So any cab driver, wherever I go, they are the luckiest person in the world because I always overtip. I always overtip. And really, that was how I got through college and how we got through high school. And, you know, it was important when I remember this, hence the dressing today, and I'll tell you about it, is, you know, going through Catholic school. Has anybody gone to Catholic school here? Okay. So here's the thing about Catholic school that you know. Elementary school, for me, it was burgundy plaid. And then from there, I moved to green plaid. And then from there, back to blue. So it's why you will never, ever see me in plaid. It just won't happen. It won't happen. So it's sort of, you know, pretty kind of messed up my fashion sense. So for me, if I get a blue, gray, black, I'm good. I'm good. Anyway, so after that, you know, I went to undergrad at Boston University and majored in communications. And people always ask me, you know, what do you do to get into crisis communication? You know, is there one particular path that you can take? And it's not. I mean, actually, sort of how I went into it is from Boston University. This is actually awful to say, but I'll go ahead and say it. Somebody told me that I argued well. So, of course, being the kind of person that I am, I took that as a compliment. And they said, you ought to try law school. So I went to George Washington University, and I got a degree in paralegal studies. I wanted to sort of put my, you know, toe in the water a little bit. And then from there, I went to American University, and both local schools here. And so I really got an interest in, you know, the law and communications, and really have been fascinated with how I should say, all of those things come together. So, you know, part of what I did right out of law school was the Iran-Contra investigation, but probably most of you would hopefully remember I was a prosecutor in D.C. Where I had to learn sort of this famous quote that the bee set me up. I don't know if anybody remembers that case involving Marion Barry. So I handled the press on that, and from there, and this is why I say you really want to stretch, and you really don't know because things happen. You know, doing that case, some people at the White House were watching how I was dealing with the press in the Barry case and saw me on TV. And it coincided with a time where the White House under President Bush was looking for a deputy press secretary. And so from that and references, I got the job at the White House. And really, unlike probably most folks, a network is important, I knew absolutely no one there. Absolutely no one. It was just simply, you know, reference and TV. And so that experience at the White House was really good. It certainly took on, you know, a lot of crisis work. I remember, oh God, everything from President Gorbachev's resignation to working with the LA riots. I remember being in Japan And I remember that we were just traveling a lot, and nobody was too excited about it. And so we remember talking to the president, and we said, look, you really, Japan is important. You want to bond and make it a really strong trip. So we're all out. The president is playing tennis with the president of Japan. And so we're out enjoying a nice dinner with the press corps. And so you have the press staff and the press corps. And so we're sitting down eating dinner, and all of a sudden everybody's pagers are going off and cell phones are ringing. And it's really hard to sort of sit there and pretend like nothing's going on. And so all of us got up and said, we got to go. And the press are like, oh my God, there's something wrong, there's something wrong. And so they all get up, and lo and behold, we found out that the president did a little too much bonding, and he threw up on the president of Japan playing tennis. So that was sort of a mess, and I know, it's one of those things like, how did that happen? How did that happen? And, the White House provided really sort of a good experience, and really, honestly, a stomping ground, because you have to handle crisis every single day. I mean, they don't wait for you. Come the end of the day, it's going to be in the paper tomorrow. It's going to be on the nightly news, one way or the other. And then, I had some background with NBC, which was great. I sort of remember, like most of you, watching O.J. Simpson and the group of people that were following him down the 405, and dealing with that crisis. And what has been rewarding, which I want to encourage you today about it, is that really with each experience and with each task that I set out to conquer, it was way out of my comfort zone. I mean, anybody will tell you who knows me, I'm deep in the comfort zone. I can eat the same food every single day. I go to the same location. I stay in places that I know. And part of going out of the comfort zone is being able to learn, I think, what your strengths and weaknesses are, and also being able to be open to new experiences. And it really, truly, truly helps you test what your limitations are, your strengths, what your drive, how strong you are, how much you want it, and what you're passionate about.